is this form? You might have also heard it as sponsoring an immigrant. But what happens if it is a spouse and then later you divorce? Well, this is where it gets very tricky, and a lot of people don't realize this. What you are signing when you sign the affidavit of support is actually a contract between yourself, the immigrant, and the government. Think of it as a three-party contract. And you cannot get out of this contract just because you are divorcing.
Hey, this is Raul. Please act right. Don't even think about marrying a woman from another country and bringing her over here until you see this video. Now, some of you may have seen a part of this video, the K-1 visa, that I did in a previous video a couple of weeks ago. I want to show it again to make sure that I'm reaching all the guys out there so they're familiar with the responsibilities that you're going to have if you marry one of those women and bring her to your country. But make sure to stick around, because after the 2-minute video, I'm going to share with you the do's and the don'ts if you're going to use your passport and go overseas and deal with those women. I'll share some information that'll keep you out of trouble and keep you from making bad decisions. But before we get started, a word from our sponsor. Are you among the diet resistant? We've been told forever that diet and exercise are the key to weight loss, but it doesn't work for everybody, especially after we reach the age of 35 to 50, where any expert will agree that weight loss becomes much harder. The reality is that stress and lifestyle factors can make weight loss more difficult as we age. You don't know it yet, but in the next 60 seconds, you're going to learn how to help skyrocket energy levels, boost your metabolism, and help reach your weight loss goals quicker. Now listen closely. After years of trial and error, the best secret is to elevate your ketone levels with a new amazing keto powder. This powder ignites your weight loss journey by supporting a boost metabolism. The fact of the matter is, you want to boost metabolism because it reduces your body's fat storage. To further reinforce this fact, thousands of customers rave about the benefits they're receiving from it. Stop and ask yourself how amazing your body will look after taking it now. Try it today risk-free for 60 days simply by going to ketoactright.com or clicking on the link below. This is time sensitive, so hurry. After you enter your details, you'll receive your bag delivered to your doorstep in a few short days.
What is this form? You might have also heard it as sponsoring an immigrant. And it has to do with the financial status of the petitioner, usually a U.S. citizen, sometimes a permanent resident, filing a form and saying, I am going to take care of this immigrant so they do not become a public charge, so they don't come to the United States and ask the government for benefits. And so they sign this form and they have to give proof of their earnings and tax returns and W-2s and 1099 forms and this kind of thing. Why do they do that, and what does it mean? What exactly am I signing here? Well, basically, if you read the forms, what you are signing is a promise to support this immigrant so that they do not become a public charge in the United States. Now, for most people, this is a close relative. This is a spouse, sometimes it's a child, it can be a brother or sister or a parent. Usually not much controversy in being willing to sponsor a family member. But what happens if it is a spouse and then later you divorce? Well, this is where it gets very tricky, and a lot of people don't realize this. What you are signing when you sign the affidavit of support is actually a contract between yourself, the immigrant, and the government. Think of it as a three-party contract. And you cannot get out of this contract just because you are divorcing. So it becomes very important to understand when you sponsor your spouse, and of course when everybody sponsors their spouse, they're in love and they just got married and they're ready to bring this person over. But understand, if things do not work out between you and the immigrant spouse down the road, you can still be held by the government to maintain this person's standard of living above the poverty line throughout the terms of the agreement. And the agreement basically says until they are a U.S. citizen, until they die, or until they've had 10 years basically of working on their own through the work record, through establishing payments through IRS, through tax systems.
And there you have it. For all you guys thinking that you were gonna go overseas and meet Mrs. Right, get her a visa and bring her over here and live happily ever after, you better think twice. The K-1 visa ain't no joke. I mean, seriously, 10 years you could be sponsoring this person if it doesn't work out. And keep in mind that you don't have any control over how she's gonna act when she gets here. And we all know, chances are that once she gets here, it'll only take about a year and a half before she starts getting westernized in her thinking. And if that happens, you're gonna be living with a totally different woman than the woman you married. And if you do get divorced, you still gotta pay for her for another 8 years, just like a marriage contract in the United States. That does not sound good to me. So unless you want to get caught up in this trap, you might want to just stay single. Get your passport and go visit the country of your choice and just mingle with the women while you're there. And speaking of passports and traveling, I put together a list of things, or should I say warning, of what to do and what not to do when dealing with women overseas. Number 1, Do not interact with these women on these online dating sites while you're still in your country. This is the fastest way to get scammed. You have no idea if this woman is telling you the truth or not. Some of these women are actually married and they're telling you that they're single. Then they start telling you that they're having financial troubles and you start sending them money. Just wait until you get over there and meet the woman when you're out and about. Number 2, if you're gonna mingle with the women online before you go to their country, don't believe anything they tell you until you see it firsthand when you visit. Number 3, never tell the woman the exact day and time that you're coming to her country. If you give her enough advance notice and she's running a scam on you, she'll have everything set up to cover her lies. For example, some of these women have husbands or boyfriends who live with them. They'll let them know that you're coming, and she'll come and spend 2 or 3 weeks with you so she can earn your trust. Their husband or boyfriend will let them do whatever they need to do so they can get the money out of you. Once you go back to your home country, she'll go right back to her regular life and wait for the next guy she's going to interact with to come and visit and do the same thing to him too. So if you're interacting with a woman online and you're going to go to her country, don't tell her that you're coming. Just show up. Then Skype her or however you all were contacting her and say, hey, I'm here. Let me come visit you. What's your address? If she's a scammer, she'll hang up and she'll block you, therefore saving you the trouble of wasting your time while you're there. But if she's for real, she'll be overjoyed and she'll give you her address and have you come check her out. Number 4, if you're mingling with a woman online and you go to her country, do not have her meet you at the airport. I want you to think about it. You're gonna be exhausted from your flight. You're gonna be hungry. You're gonna be stinking. You're gonna be irritable. The only thing you're gonna wanna do is check into your hotel, take a shower, get something to eat, and cool out. I don't care how bad you wanna see her, you are not gonna wanna be bothered after that long ass flight. Here's another thing. If you have her meet you at the airport, these women are known for showing up not just by themselves, but with their family members too. Don't be surprised if she has her mother, her father, her 2 cousins, her brother and her sister, and a baby in her arm. And guess where they want to go with you? Yep, they want to go eat. And guess who they want to pay for it? You guessed it, you. Do not let these women pick you up at the airport. Wait a day or 2 after you've been there and rested up, then call her and say, hey, I'm at the hotel. Number 5, if you're mingling with a woman online and you meet her in her country, what if you don't like her? What if she's nothing like you thought she was? What if her body is shaped funny and you never saw it online? What if half her teeth were missing? Was the reason why she wasn't smiling on the camera? What if she has a bad odor about herself? What if she has a really bad attitude? And believe me, there are a few of them out there that do. Now you're stuck with this woman for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And believe me, if she really likes you, you're gonna catch hell trying to get rid of her. And as you're walking down the street with her and you see all the other beautiful women, you're gonna wish you had never talked to her online. It's called painting yourself in a corner. Wait until you get there and meet these women in person. Number 6, leave these 20-year-old little girls alone, especially if you're an older guy and you know you want to settle down. Most of these young girls are not ready for marriage and taking care of a husband. The majority of them have no life experience whatsoever. You want a woman in her early 30s or older when you're an older man and you're living in another country. Because if something goes wrong and you need some help, she'll know what to do. Those 20-year-olds don't have a clue most of the time. If you want to live in your fantasy of yesteryear when you used to be able to bag a 20-year-old, go to the club and rent one. Have fun with her because she understands the agreement, then keep it moving. But when you're talking about relationships and marriage, you're better off getting a woman 30 years old or older. Number 7, do not go to those countries lonely and thirsty. Here, I'm gonna let David from the Campbell channel take it from here.
Too many people come here and make the same mistake over and over and over again. And then after they've been here a year or 2, or a month or 2, or a week or 2, they regret it. Do not come to the Philippines lonely and thirsty. So come here, spend a couple of days in somewhere else, and see all the different Filipinos that are around. And you'll see how many of them will say, hey, handsome, how are you doing? I love you. It won't just be the girl that you met. But once you hear that about 10 times, you'll realize it's a line. It isn't the truth.
The fastest way to get with the wrong woman is to go there thirsty. Believe me, those scammer type women, they know a gullible man when they see one. Number 8, you have to have a monthly income in order to live in another country and be okay financially. Let's do the quick math. Let's say you saved up $60,000 and your monthly expenses in that country is $2,000. Well, $60,000 divided by 2,000 is 30. That means that $60,000 will only take you 30 months before you run out of money. That's just 2.5 years, and that's if everything goes smooth. But what if you have an accident and have to pay for a hospital bill? Or what if you get a girlfriend? And I'm sure you're gonna get one, especially with all the beautiful women walking around the country. Where that $60,000 would have lasted you 2.5 years, you'll run out of money in about 1.5 years. Then you're gonna have to go back to your country to get more money. So you have to have a monthly income coming in so that the money that you saved up is just a backup for emergency. Number 9. For the guys who are planning on retiring in another country, fall in love with the country first, then fall in love with the woman from that country. Too many guys do it backwards. They move to her country because they're in love with her. Then it doesn't work out, and that's when they realize they don't really like the country. It makes no sense to move to a whole other country for a woman if you really don't like the country itself. If you like the country and it doesn't work out with her, you'll be content with living there until you meet another woman that's a better fit for you. Number 10, set limits with money with women from the very start and stick to it. If you set a limit and she keeps asking you for money, she might be trying to play you. A woman who truly respects you will respect your money boundaries. Number 11, don't get too serious too fast with the first woman that you meet or shows interest in you. Talk with more than one woman and let them all know that you're looking for the best fit. Most guys will tell you the woman that they ended up with was not the first woman they dated. You might have to go through 3 or 4 of them before you find the right one. Number 12, take your time with her. Don't be so fast to jump into bed with her. Once you sleep with her, she's seeing a future with you. Hell, in her mind, y'all already got 2 or 3 kids and married. But if you realize in a few weeks that you're just not into her, you'll end up breaking this woman's heart. You don't want anybody to string you along and dump you after sex, so don't do it to her. Get to know her first before you take her to the bedroom. Number 13, be sure to tell her up front that you will not tolerate lying. If you catch her lying, it's over. Number 14, have you ever dated a foreigner before? If she says yes, proceed with caution. You might find yourself competing with the other guy she dated. If he took her to different places in her country and you take her to the same places, she has no choice but to reminisce about when she was there with him. This may not be a good thing for you, especially if he treated her better or spent more money on her than you have. Be very cautious when dating a woman who's already dated a foreigner. Number 15, ask her if she's legally married to anyone. The best thing to do is ask her through a text message or an email so that you have her answer in writing. This way, if you find yourself in trouble with the law, because adultery is against the law in most of those countries, you can show them proof that she told you she wasn't married to anyone. Which leads to my next one. Number 16, ask her if she's willing to go with you to the courthouse to get a cinemar. A cinemar is a document that the courthouse produces that proves whether she's single, married, or divorced. And be sure to ask her to go with you on a day that she says she's free and has nothing to do. The best thing to do is ask her when you both are together to go with you right then and there. If she goes with you, cool. If she comes up with excuses, she's probably lying to you. Number 17, ask her if she has any children, and if so, how many. Some of these women will lie to you and say they don't have any kids or they only have one. Then later on you find out she has 3 or 4. This is why I say, tell her if she lies to you, it's over. She needs to be upfront with you about everything from the get. Now, of course, in countries like the United States, we say don't date a woman with kids. You'll never have control. And why spend your money on another man's kids? But you have to understand that most of these women in these third world countries, if they're over 20 years old, more than likely they're going to have a child or 2 or 3 or 5. You may find a few that don't have any children that's over 25 years old, but not as many. But if you really want a woman with no kids, take your time, they're out there. Number 18, are you financially taking care of your family? And if so, how much money do you provide to your family per month? And here's where you have to set the boundary. Most of these young ladies are financially taking care of their family. So for the most part, they're going to be giving their families anywhere from $50 to $150 a month. Whatever number she tells you, be sure you're able to give her that plus a few more dollars and let her know that's your limit. The few more dollars is to show her family that she is getting a come up, but that increase is all you have. If the family gets greedy after that and wants more, you need to get her to understand that if her family doesn't accept what you give, she's going to find herself looking for another man. This is one of the reasons why I say don't date younger women, because an older woman in her 30s or older won't have a problem keeping her family in check as far as money is concerned. But a younger girl, she's still more impressionable by her family, and she'll allow them to pressure her into asking you for more money. Set the standard in the beginning, and you shouldn't have any problems. If you do, just let her go and find another woman. Number 19, do you want to live in another country? For you guys who are planning to go to another country and stay there, this is one of the most important questions that you're going to have to ask a woman that you're going to consider dating. If she doesn't want to leave her country, that's a good sign. If she does want to leave her country, that's a bad sign. If you want to stay, but she wants to leave, if you continue to date her, I promise you, she'll bug you for the rest of your days with her about leaving the country to go to yours. Never date a woman who wants to leave her country if that's the country you plan on living in. Let her find someone else who wants to take her to their country to live in. So that's all I have for today. Now put the list in the box below, so if you want to copy and paste it, feel free to do so. Also, feel free to add to the list in the comment section to help each other out. So when it's time for you to go to one of those countries, you can be armed with what you need to do and not do to keep yourself from getting caught up. Hey, somebody has to tell you, and I love you, so it might as well be me. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to get notified when I post a new video. I post a new video every week. And in the meantime, will you please act right? My name is Raul. See you in another video. So if you enjoyed this video, check out one of these two videos right here. I'm sure you'll enjoy them too. And if you like, you can visit my channel. I have plenty of videos there. Go ahead. Don't be scared.